How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Luke from Oatmeal Robotics, and welcome back to episode 6 of Mechanical Mayhem Season 2. Believe after this episode, we will be halfway through the season if we're not already, so very interesting. We've got a lot of good fights this episode. This is a very good episode, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Our first fight is going to be between Spellbreak and Blank. These are two very interesting robots, both very different designs. Spellbreak, that kind of two-wheel drive, rear-wheeled, front-hinged flipper, and Blank, that two-wheel drive, standard vertical spinner. They're going to be running forks this time. So let's start off with Spellbreak. Coming off of their very narrow win against Bloodlust, they've been fully put back together, and I believe they were having drive issues, and the gears were actually super glued, or like the gear shafts were super glued into the like wheel well, so they should be driving better this fight. So they're looking to ram into Blank and then get him up on that flipper and flip him over. Blank can self-right if that weapon's like spinning full speed and hits the ground and they bounce off. So Spellbreak's really going to want to corral them, get them into a wall, flip them over, and hopefully that'll be it for them. They're not the most durable robot, as we saw in their last fight, but also Bloodlust just hits extremely hard, but we are going to see if Blank can dish out enough damage. Speaking of Blank, we have Blank. Still in the winner's bracket. They've been pretty dominant in their two fights so far. First fight against Lightning when they ripped off the weapon and the wheel, and then their last fight against Missile where they got him out the arena. And they took a pretty good shot on, I believe it was like their front armor panel, but they were able to shrug it off completely fine, and showing that they're very durable. They're decently quick, and they hit nice and hard. So this is a very solid robot. Again, they don't want to get put on their back, but they are fairly stable, and they're kind of wide with those flared skirts now on the side of them. So it's going to be a very interesting battle for position. So let's see whether or not Spellbreak can outmaneuver Blank, or if Blank is just too much for Spellbreak. Down at the box. All right, the robots are in the arena. You can see Blank there with those forks on again, and it looks like the fight's just about to start. Right away, Spellbreak with a good box rush, and Blank already ripping off one of those forks on Spellbreak. This is actually really bad for them. Spellbreak kind of getting under Blank a little bit there, popping him up, but Blank getting a couple good shots in. You can see Blank's probably got a little bit better balance on where the wheels are, allowing them to turn a lot better than Spellbreak. Spellbreak's definitely built for straight line speed. Blank kind of built for quick turns. We see another nice little pop there from Blank. They really want to get a good charge up on Spellbreak, kind of get a lot of bite with that disc, or I guess drum, I don't really know, drumette. And a nice shot there from Blank, throwing Spellbreak out of the arena. Spellbreak onto the loser's bracket, and Blank, it looks like they actually lost a side of drive after that hit. That's going to be interesting to watch. So Blank moving on, Spellbreak. So they're still in the tournament, they're just in the loser's bracket now. So hopefully they can, revive their chances at a tournament run. But as of right now, Blank looking like a top contender. All right, our next fight is going to be between Tungsten and Phantom. These are the two most highly anticipated rookies this season. They've each been dominating all of their fights. We saw last time Phantom take it to Ocean Commotion, and Tungsten nearly explode Centrifuge's battery and shatter their weapon. So these two robots, very heavy hitters. They're both very fast. Tungsten has the speed on Phantom. Phantom has kind of the control. They're a little slower, but they are able to place that robot a little better. So let's start off with Tungsten. We know that they have the grade 5 titanium disc that's powered by a 2S lithium polymer battery. That is the strongest battery that these weight class of robots can run on and still be within weight. We've seen that the forks haven't been the best on Tungsten, but when they do get under a robot, it is nearly impossible for the robot to get away. So they're going to try to scoop up Phantom, and it's kind of like Bronco, where they can go 2 minutes absolutely getting their butt kicked, but if they get that one perfect placement, it is over for Phantom. So they're going to be trying to use their speed to kind of outmaneuver Phantom and scoop him up at any point in the fight. So this is going to be either a quick knockout or a 3-minute slugfest. Next up, we got Phantom. Going into this fight, they are kind of on the back foot. I mean, they definitely have knockout power. They have out of the arena power, but they don't have that surgical killing power. Phantom's lithium polymer battery is covered, but it's by about like 2 millimeters or less of PLA plus, and Tungsten has no problem going through that. So they're going to want to make sure that they keep their front pointed at Tungsten for the full 3 minutes. Can they do it? Let's find out down at the box. All right, the robots are in the arena. This has the potential to be the fight of the season right away. Robot's a little slow out the gate, and Phantom already getting pushed in the corner, and Tungsten hitting Phantom with that disc. It looks like they're not afraid to just swing that disc into that drum, but Phantom with a nice little counter shot, now kind of seeming to come alive, peeling up those forks. Tungsten spinning that blade down. They want to make sure that when they spin it up, they're using it to its fullest capacity. And it looks like Tungsten's fork is stuck in the wall, and Phantom almost getting Tungsten out the arena, flipping him over. Tungsten self-righting with that arm. Now it looks like they're spinning up again, just darting into the corner. Phantom getting under Tungsten. Tungsten on its back, and another good shot from Phantom. This is a very quick-paced match. Can Tungsten self-right? Phantom almost throwing him out of the arena yet again. And now getting him into the corner. Tungsten throwing that blade on Phantom's drum again. Phantom continuing to get under Tungsten and kind of mess up those forks. Tungsten trying to reset, but Phantom is just so devastatingly consistent, and they keep getting on top of Tungsten. Peeling up those forks again. It looks like Phantom is definitely targeting that left side of forks on Tungsten. Tungsten throwing that blade down again. A nice another shot from Phantom to the back side of Tungsten now. Tungsten trying to corral Phantom. You can see him getting to the side there and digging that blade into the armor of Phantom. Now those uprights are 100% infill, I believe, so Phantom's not going to have any problem shrugging those hits off. It's if they get directly to the back when it might be a problem. But Tungsten definitely getting some control here. And now they are to the back of Phantom, and you can see the blade has dug into the back of Phantom. This is a very bad position if you are Phantom. And a good chunk of the armor has come off, and it looks like they are hitting the battery wires on Phantom and now dragging them. This is really bad if you're Phantom. And let's look for that drum. Oh, it looks like they were stuck. All right. So Phantom can move, but it looks like their weapon is dead. Looks like there was just some confusion with the drivers as if the fight was continuing or not. But Phantom to the side of Tungsten, pushing him around. Tungsten needs to get away from that front side of Phantom. But they have stopped that weapon, so that is a very big swing in Tungsten's favor. Now, if nothing goes wrong, they should probably have this fight in the bag, and something has gone terribly wrong. Tungsten is they have lost their hammer. The spinner is still spinning, but they are not able to deliver that energy anymore. So this is now a very even box versus box pushing match, which honestly, that's kind of how I saw this fight going. There was no way either of these robots were coming out unscathed. And it looks like we are coming to the closing seconds of this match. This is going to be a very close one. Very destructive match. Both of these robots taking a lot of damage, and it looks like that is going to be the end of the match. And the winner by a judge's decision was Phantom. So good job to them. Narrow win. Tungsten doing a lot of good work. They were actually pulled the battery wire, but didn't touch the battery, didn't cut the battery wire. They did cut the wire, the positive wire to the drone motor powering Phantom's weapon. So they did do a lot of damage, but it was just too little too late. Phantom, their drive was very solid for the whole match, so that really helped them. Tungsten, now in the losers bracket, I have a feeling that they'll still make it pretty far in the tournament. All right, our next match is going to be between Catastrophe and Mayhem. Both of these veterans have fought before in Mechanical Mayhem 1, where Catastrophe kind of obliterated Mayhem, and Mayhem ended up winning on control of all things. So that was a very interesting result, but both of these robots has since gotten minor to major upgrades. So let's first start off with Catastrophe, who has gotten a brand new blade because Mayhem shattered its last one in Mechanical Mayhem 1, and Chunk actually destroyed its other one this season. So this is a brand new blade going into this match, and they're going to look to try to get under Mayhem or at least just, tank damage and dish out damage. They know that they have the advantage against Mayhem, because Mayhem is a little more fragile against horizontals than it probably should be. So they're going to try to use that to their advantage, try to take the hits, and try to dish them out. They're confident that they're the more durable robot, and they're going to put that to the test. Next up, we have Mayhem, who has their low forks that they're going in this fight with to try to counteract Catastrophe's forks. Their spinner is still hitting extremely hard. Their drive is very good. This robot was actually completely rebuilt from the ground up to kind of fix some of the drive issues it had started showing just because of age. So this is kind of a brand new Mayhem versus a brand new, or non-brand new Catastrophe, a fairly old Catastrophe actually. So this is going to be an interesting match, and I'm excited to see what happens. So without further ado, let's head down to the box. All right, both of the robots are in the arena, and it looks like Catastrophe was spinning up a little. That's fine. All right, so both of these robots right out the gate. Mayhem looking like the quicker of the two and getting a nice shot on Catastrophe. Catastrophe with that blade looking to just kind of turn around and try to hit Mayhem. You can definitely see the age difference in the Whiplash chassis. Mayhem's just a good bit quicker than Catastrophe. But Catastrophe is starting to come alive now, trying to see if they can line up a good shot. But Mayhem getting to the side of Catastrophe nicely. And a nice another little shot on that spinner on Catastrophe. Catastrophe just trying to use its Self-Rider. And there it goes, a good chunk of Mayhem's forks. And they're flipped over, but they do have that Self-Rider. So now we can start seeing Catastrophe taking off little bits and pieces of Mayhem. And there goes an entire side of Mayhem. They definitely need to epoxy that, because hot glue is definitely not doing it enough justice anymore. But that spinner on Mayhem is still spinning, which is going to be a good little benefit for them. Catastrophe really wanting to rip off that weapon now. But this is looking, and there goes the weapon. This is looking very much like a replica of last season. Let's see if Catastrophe can actually pull off the control category this time. Mayhem definitely showing a lot of aggression here by just continuously driving into Catastrophe despite just being a box now. But it looks like they actually have some decent control here. Catastrophe just kind of sitting there. They're not really able to turn around. Mayhem kind of slotting that weapon slot into the wheel, or like slotting Catastrophe's wheel into its weapon slot, just kind of holding it that way. And they're doing a really good job at avoiding that spinner. That spinner might be down on Catastrophe. I don't know. We'll have to look. Nope, it looks like it's actually spinning up just fine now. But Mayhem needs to do everything they can to avoid that spinner on Catastrophe. And Catastrophe needs to start moving a little bit more, really try to get that spinner into play. But right now, it looks like Mayhem is showing once again that they do have the speed and the control needed to go the full 3 minutes in this match. Catastrophe, you could see their forks might be a little bit chewed up at the front. Mayhem might have had something to do with that. A nice little shot there from Catastrophe, but they definitely need to do more if they want to win this match, because even though if they have all their systems firing, if they're not doing anything, then it's not going to work out well for them. And Catastrophe had a really good shot lined up there, but they just couldn't make it happen. Mayhem just kind of, just sticking and moving. Catastrophe sitting in one spot, trying to get a good hit on Mayhem. That was a pretty decent shot. Didn't really send Mayhem anywhere or anything, but it was a good shot nonetheless. That was a good hit there. Almost sending Mayhem on their side. Mayhem just trying to, dodge that spinner still, but Catastrophe starting to do a little bit more now. We are coming up to the closing seconds of this match, and it looks like that is going to be the fight. So let's see if what Catastrophe did at the end there was enough. And it looks like the winner by judges' decision is going to be Mayhem. Catastrophe too little too late. Mayhem replicating the match pretty much exactly since last fight. Catastrophe showing that they're a little bit more durable than last time. That spinner running for the full 3 minutes, but they just weren't able to get the control. So either they're going to need to lighten up their front end, or they're going to need a chassis swap or something, because they just didn't have the speed here. But Catastrophe onto the losers bracket, and Mayhem continuing in the winners bracket. All right, next up we have a match between two very solid robots, both being Squish and Pumpkin. Pumpkin has been tearing through the competition this season, and Squish has been getting some pretty solid knockouts of their own. Squish proving that they've been fairly durable, and Pumpkin proving that they are also fairly durable this season. So these are going to be two very heavy hitters going head to head. So without further ado, let's start off with Squish. Now, this season, instead of having the rear wedge and then the fork configuration, Squish has actually had both configurations integrated into one. So it's got the forks and then a little bit of wedge around it. So they're going to try to stop Pumpkin's blade with that spinner that's solid PLA plus, and then whip around and try to control them for most of the fight. Squish is an expert at control, so that is a pretty solid plan. But that plan might fall apart when you see who they're going up against. They're going up against Pumpkin. Now, this robot has been looking solid this entire season. They've been going the full 3 minutes if they haven't already knocked out their opponent by then or ripped them to shreds. They've been looking extremely durable, so Squish's plan on breaking their weapon, it might be a Herculean feat, but if they can do it, then they can have a massive upset here. But Pumpkin definitely not looking like they're going to make it easy. But let's see what happens down at the box. All right, both robots are in the arena. It looks like the fight is just about to begin. And right away, it looks like something might be wrong with Pumpkin's left side of drive. And Squish, it looks like they've just gone into the corner, and Pumpkin has made them pay by ripping off one of their forks and jamming up one of the other ones. It looks like Squish is having some issues with their drive or something, and it looks like their weapon is not doing good either. Squish looks like they're taking they're kind of seeing the fatigue of battle or something. But that middle fork is still stuck in the upright position, now coming back down. So Squish is going for the break your fist with on my face strategy. Let's see if that pans out for them. Pumpkin looking like their drive is a little wonky, but otherwise looking very well controlled in this match. Looks like they're just kind of trying to stay in the middle of the box, not trying to do anything fancy, just get some shots in. I believe for this fight, Pumpkin did downgrade from 2S Lion battery system to a standard 1S Lion 2 AAA system. So that's why you're not seeing them get their crazy hits, but they are still getting some pretty decent shots. Squish definitely looks like that weapon still is down, so it might be down for the rest of the fight. And it looks like they are starting to have drive issues now. I don't know if that's damage from Pumpkin stacking up or if that is just their drive motor maybe got knocked loose. There's several different reasons, but it looks like it's coming back a little bit now. Yeah, it looks very intermittent, so I would say it's probably the motor got shaken loose in one of these big shots by Pumpkin. There's another good shot from Pumpkin. Definitely not the explosive performance that we've seen often from Pumpkin, but definitely a lot more controlled, a lot more careful, which if that driving style compare with that weapon, that is a scary, scary combination. Nice, just a couple more good shots from Pumpkin. It looks like they're doing just enough. You know, they're trying to make sure that Squish gets knocked out, but they're not trying to damage their own robot, their own frame, their own chassis, their own weapon motor in the process. Because, I mean, Pumpkin does take heavy damage to itself over the course of a tournament. And nice, another good shot there, sending both robots to opposite sides of the arena. And we're coming to the final about fifth of the match, so it looks like Pumpkin's doing everything they need to right now, and Squish just not really feeling this match. It looks like they're just kind of, you know, sitting there. They're trying to, oh, it looks like something got thrown off of Squish there. It looks like they're just trying to survive till the end of the match. Might be willing to just go to the losers bracket and then try their luck there rather than try to fight Pumpkin much more. Nice another shot there from Pumpkin. I don't know if that's debris that's getting under Pumpkin that's like messing up their drive or what, but it looks like that is going to be the end of the match. I'm sure, okay, I guess I can just do that. I'm sure the judges, yeah, they're going to score it for Pumpkin. Very disappointing match by Squish. They're now in the losers bracket, but not the most dominant showing by Pumpkin. I mean, it was definitely a one-sided match, but it wasn't the absolute destruction that we've seen from them before. But it was definitely still more than enough. I mean, knocking the motor loose on Squish's side, locking up that side of drive, killing the weapon. Even though it wasn't like performative wise, it didn't look crazy. I'm sure Squish took a lot more damage than meets the eye. All right, our next fight is going to be between Atlantis and Matador. These are two 4-wheel drive robots. Matador with gear drive, Atlantis with belted drive. So they're similar but different. So this is going to be a very interesting match. So without further ado, let's start off with Matador. They have been doing decent this season, with a narrow loss to Missile, followed by a pretty solid win against Lightning. They are now facing off one of the kind of more traditional robots in Atlantis. So they're going to try to flip Atlantis over, but Atlantis can drive inverted. That drum might drag on the ground, though, if they are inverted. And definitely they won't have all 4 wheels on the ground. So Matador's strategy, get under Atlantis, flip them over, try to see if they could get them to do the thing where they get stuck on a thing where none of their wheels are touching the ground. Maybe get them out of the arena. Just do anything to show control, and they have the speed to outpace Atlantis. They just really need to look out for that massive drum at the front of them. Speaking of Atlantis, we have Atlantis. They have downgraded to a platinum weapon motor for this match, but they've smoothed out the movement of the drum. So look out for them to be spinning smoother and not bouncing as much. And that might kind of actually counteract the downgraded weapon motor. So they should be hitting around the same strength, just a lot more controlled. Their drive should probably pick up some power now that all the energy isn't getting dumped to a strong weapon motor. So look out for them to be much more well-rounded in this match. And they should actually not have any more radio issues either because of that. So this is going to be a very tough match for Matador if Atlantis starts performing like it should. Whether it will or not, we're going to have to find out down at the box. All right, both of the robots are in the arena. It looks like the fight's just about to begin. All right, here we go. So right away, looks like Matador got under Atlantis, but tried firing that flipper into the drum, which definitely not the best idea. And you can see Atlantis is actually fairly quick for the N10 drive. And a nice shot there, flipping Matador over. But Matador, it's a flipper. It can self-right pretty easily. And Matador needs to get that flipper into play pretty soon here. They definitely don't want Atlantis to be on all fours for very long. And this is a great opportunity if you're Matador. They might try to fire that flipper, and it looks like they are going to try to fire that flipper right into the drum again. Not the best idea, but it might be their only option. We don't know. They should probably try doing a little bit better driving, just trying to see if they could get to the sides of Atlantis, maybe the back. Atlantis almost getting to the back of Matador. That would have been horrible for them. And a great shot from Atlantis, putting Matador on the wall. And a nice follow-up shot right after Matador gets himself off the wall, almost getting him out the arena into the corner, flipped upside down. That's not where you want to be if you're Matador. Luckily, Atlantis kind of let off, and Matador was able to get back into the match. But you could see Matador just not enough flipper lip on that flipper to lift Atlantis by the drum. Nice another shot from Atlantis. These robots are both doing pretty good, but you gotta think a massive shot from Atlantis. You gotta think they're ahead on the points now, especially after that shot. Matador trying to circle, trying to just out-push Atlantis, but those really powerful N10s that Atlantis uses for drive, mixed with those O-rings, giving them a nice, good amount of grip on those wheels. They have incredible driving power, but now Matador has them lifted up, but Atlantis able to get away, but getting lifted up again by Matador. And it looks like Atlantis just ripped off one of the forks on Matador, and now it's kind of under the arena wall over there, so you can't really see it. But if you look at Matador, it's missing a fork now. And Matador starting to get to the backside of Atlantis. They're definitely... these two have put on a pretty good show so far, all things considered. Now Matador keeping Atlantis kind of in that corner. Looks like they're just going for a pin there. Atlantis kind of doing a little sidestep move to get out the way. Nice little pop from Atlantis. As we come to the closing seconds of the match, Matador gets flipped over again by Atlantis. And Atlantis starting to circle Matador. A nice last-ditch attempt from Matador, but it might be not enough with not enough time. It looks like one of Matador's horns is also starting to come undone, probably from trying to flip each other. And there goes the entire head. So that is probably going to swing in favor of Atlantis now. Matador flipped over, but still able to self-right nonetheless. But they have been reduced to a push bot. And it looks like that is going to be the end of the match. So, I mean, yeah, I think it was pretty obvious that Atlantis won that one, especially in the last 30 or so seconds. Matador losing that fork, losing part of the horn and then the entire head. Just not enough. They had a couple really close calls where Matador had them up on their side, but they just couldn't capitalize, unfortunately. So that will be Matador out of the tournament, which sucks because it's honestly one of my favorite robots of mine. But Atlantis moving on, proving that they actually have what it takes now to make a deep run after a pretty shaky first half of the season. They really start to seem to come alive here. So very excited, looking forward to their next performance, especially because it's a fully 3D printed robot with a hexbug board in it. Very exciting. All right, our next match is going to be Icebreaker and Flabbergast, both very similar colored patterns, but pretty different robots. Flabbergast kind of, it's a spinner, but it's also more so of a lifter. Icebreaker, full spinner. Either you die by the spinner or it dies trying to kill you. But Flabbergast, definitely much more of a technical driver. Icebreaker, much more of a brute force brawler. So without further ado, let's start off with Flabbergast. This has definitely been one of the most well-rounded robots overall. They've had some problems with durability, but that weapon has been surprising everyone, hitting much harder than originally thought it would. And that lifter has been shown to be fairly powerful too, so it's a very well-rounded robot. Decent enough speed, decent enough defense, good power. It's overall pretty solid, but it's not crazy in any one category. The turn speed could be better, durability could be better. Honestly, the weapon power is actually pretty fine, but they're looking to just kind of flip over Icebreaker. Icebreaker can't self-right if that weapon isn't at full speed. So Flabbergast really has to tip him over and keep him there. Next, we got Icebreaker, who is looking to just spin up and hit really hard. I mean, they have one trick, but it's quite a good trick. Very powerful. They're going to try to make sure that they don't gyro too much to give Flabbergast the opportunity to get under him with that lifter. And they're going to try to look to go head on with Flabbergast because they are confident that Flabbergast doesn't have durability to shrug off enough hits from Icebreaker. So they're not planning on this fight going the full 3 minutes. They're either going to get flipped or kill Flabbergast trying. So let's see what happens down in the box. All right, both of the robots are in the arena. It looks like the fight's just about to begin. And we are underway. Flabbergast being very timid, but confident. Almost getting a lift there on Icebreaker. Trying to make sure that they don't put those lifter arms into the way of the weapon. Getting a couple good lifts on the side, but Icebreaker's spinning up. They're biding their time. They know that they only need one good shot to change the tide of the fight. And it looks like they've got that shot. Right away, both lifting arms on Flabbergast have been ripped off and thrown out of the arena from across the box. That might be one of the craziest hits of the season. Oh my goodness. Icebreaker with a very convincing win. I don't know if you saw our faces there, but we were absolutely, flabbergasted by that shot. What a shot by Icebreaker. Holy cow. What a quick match. They did perfect there. They just waited for that perfect moment, got that hit, and then did exactly what they needed to do. So great job by Icebreaker. Unfortunately, it is the end of the road for Flabbergast, but I feel like that was a pretty good showing from them for throughout the entire season. So not too disappointing of an exit. They will, if they do come back, they'll probably be a little stronger, beef up the areas that showed weakness, and they will be another solid contender. All right, our next match is going to be between Panda and Ocean Commotion. Both of these robots have been doing pretty well in their respective fields, and they're just coming together to meet now. So without further ado, let's start off with Panda. Your standard whiplash lifter with kind of piano key forks and a slightly upgraded lifter. I glued the slip gear in the kind of gear train to prevent it from slipping, so it kind of either will lift or it just won't lift. So that gives it a little bit more power and just enough for what it needs to do. So they have been pretty solid this season. Nothing too crazy, but they have been overall really solid. And they're going up against Ocean Commotion, who had a rough match against Phantom, and then a not much better match against Roulette. They did come out with a win, but their belt had slipped. So they've actually downgraded or not downgraded, but they have changed out the belt for a smaller one. So look out for them to actually be spinning up faster, hitting harder, and not have any more belt slip. So if everything goes to plan, Ocean Commotion is going to be even more reliable, even stronger, and even more terrifying. So without further ado, let's head down to the box to see if they can take it to Panda. All right, both of their robots are in the arena, and looks like we're just about to begin. All right, we can see Ocean Commotion spinning up, and a great box rush from Panda, just going straight at Ocean Commotion. Ocean Commotion with a nice couple of shots here. But Panda shrugging him off pretty well. A nice, another solid shot from Ocean Commotion with a little ram there. And it looks like they've gotten rid of that flipper lip on Panda. And Panda has flipped over Ocean Commotion with a very strong opening to this match. Panda kind of skirting around Ocean Commotion, kind of more of a drifting style. And Ocean Commotion definitely has much more of a point and shoot style. Ocean Commotion attacking the wall in a very weird lift and flip for Panda. Looks like they lifted the backside of Ocean Commotion, and their spinner actually hit the floor and flipped them over backwards. But now Ocean Commotion definitely in trouble, and Panda absolutely picking up Ocean Commotion and getting a suplex. Ocean Commotion stuck in that position. Is Panda going to be a good sportsman and lift him over? It looks like they are. They're going to let Ocean Commotion continue in this match. But Ocean Commotion, without that spinner, they're not going to be able to do much of anything. And it looks like they are stuck again. Panda looks like they're going to free him again. They want a good, solid match here. And Ocean Commotion happy to give him a good match if they can just get over. But it looks like they are struggling. They can't use those screws because those screws have been shut off because they are so damaged. But Panda finally getting them flipped over nicely. Looks like they're kind of pinning them, and they're going to try to grab them. But Ocean Commotion now all of a sudden back in the fight, but a little rattled. But they have taken off one of the sides of Panda's forks. And a nice, another good shot by Ocean Commotion puts them back into the match. Panda definitely the quicker of the two, but Ocean Commotion definitely the more devastating. Nice, another shot there, and another shot there. Ocean Commotion just stacking up the damage, but Panda definitely ahead on control and aggression, freeing Ocean Commotion several times at the beginning of the match. Now getting them up on on that lifter, kind of purchasing them up on the kind of front corner of that chassis. You got to think, you don't really know which side the points are going towards, because Panda definitely had greater control of the first half of the match, but Ocean Commotion has been fairly devastating throughout when they're on their wheels. Good little grab earlier from Panda. Nice shot there from Ocean Commotion. These two are just trading blows as we come down to the final fifth of the match. And it looks like Ocean Commotion is starting to get Panda into the corner, just doing a little bit more. They might be slightly ahead of the points, but it's really hard to tell at this point. And then Panda with another really nice, solid grab. I honestly don't know which way this fight is going to go. This is going to be a hard one for the judges. And Panda getting flipped by Ocean Commotion and again, and Ocean Commotion taking full advantage, but Panda right back in it with a nice shove into the wall. And it looks like Ocean Commotion is spinning up, but Panda getting to the side of him. And it looks like that is going to be the end of the match. Man, that is a hard one to judge. And it looks like the judges are going to give it to Ocean Commotion. That might honestly be the closest judges' decision of the entire season. That was a very good fight. Those were very even competitors. Unfortunate for Panda. They are now out of the tournament, but they put up a really good showing. Definitely the way you want to go out if you do end up going out. Ocean Commotion continuing on, that belt staying on the whole time is absolutely what saved them there. But Panda, unfortunate exit, but nonetheless had to happen. All right, our last match of the day is going to be between Missile and Bloodlust. Bloodlust coming off of a win against their brother Executioner, and Missile coming off of a win against Shroud, where they just tore everything up from that robot. So let's start off with Bloodlust. Now, after that battery tray issue has been solved, they've been looking very solid. Just absolutely taking it to Executioner last match, and they're looking to do the same here to Missile. They are running that titanium bar and the fork configuration, and they're looking to just go full on offense, spin up as quick as they can, hit as hard as they can, hit as many times as they can. They're looking for a full damage match this match. They're trying to not go the full 3 minutes. And they're going to be going up against Missile, who is going with their wedge configuration this time. And they're looking to just box rush Bloodlust. They are both very fast robots, but I think Missile has a little bit more speed. So they're looking to get that nice, strong, small spinner and try to uppercut Bloodlust and quickly deal with them. So without further ado, let's see what happens down at the box. All right, both of the robots are in the arena. It looks like we're just about to begin. All right, so right out the gate, it looks like Bloodlust just kind of sitting in the middle of the box, just waiting for Missile to come to them. Missile looks like it's having drive issues. Could be one of those gears in the rear wheel is shattered. And it looks like they are not going to have to worry about that now because that back wheel is off. And it looks like they actually are driving better now. So that actually ended up helping them. And it looks like Missile can gyro, and they flip themselves over. And Bloodlust helping them get back on their feet, but at the cost of their wedge. And now Missile just flipping around. They're a sitting duck here. It looks like that back right rear wheel is damaged now. So maybe if Bloodlust is feeling nice, they'll hit that off too. But Missile, it looks like their spinner, their belt has come off. So now they are nothing but a box with 2 wheels and a broken wheel. And it looks like that spinner might be spinning up a little bit, but not nearly at full speed. But it looks like they're trying to drive backwards at Bloodlust, seeing if driving backwards is helping them a little bit more than driving forwards. Might be a little bit better on the gears. Now the armor's coming off of Missile. It's not looking good for them. And you can see that spinner is now kind of warped, or it's bent sideways in Missile. I think the axle got popped out of the mounting. And a nice another shot from Bloodlust. It looks like that spinner's actually back in the mounting now, which is odd. But Missile just trying to show any kind of aggression. Bloodlust looking nice and controlled and getting that other wheel off of Missile. Now Missile actually driving fine again. This is a very interesting match. But Bloodlust just sitting there kind of, they know that they don't have to worry about their drive issues anymore, so they can take their time. Getting stuck under the wall now, but it's not like Missile can really capitalize. They're a box with 2 wheels. But Bloodlust needs to get out of that wall quickly. They don't want to get counted out here. But Missile just kind of driving around, hoping for a miracle, but the miracle is not going to come today as Bloodlust gets freed. And Missile just trying to shove Bloodlust, trying to do anything they can, but it's really not looking good for them. Bloodlust, again, they know that they could just be controlled if they could just sit in the middle of the arena, kind of go for Missile when it's convenient. Missile can't really do much more than be a little aggressive. But Bloodlust definitely able to dictate the pace of this match now. They have the speed to keep up with Missile. They have the weapon power to completely knock them out. Missile definitely doesn't want to get hit on those last 2 wheels. If those wheels get ripped off, they are absolutely done for. We're starting to come to the close of this match, but I have a feeling that after a rough judge's decision last match, this one won't be so bad. But Bloodlust, again, just doing what they need to do. Very similar to Pumpkin this episode, where they haven't really done anything crazy in terms of like desperate attacks or anything. They've done just enough, and that's going to be the end of the match, and it's going to Bloodlust. That we're not even going to beat around the bush there. That was a dominant performance. So good job to them. Missile out of the tournament, and I have to repair it because it's getting sent to a builder. So that's going to be a great time for me. But anyhow, good job to Bloodlust. They're making it back through the losers bracket, showing that they do indeed deserve to be here. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to, subscribe or whatever. Or not. I'm not your dad. I don't know. But we have a pretty solid lineup for next episode as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys all then. See ya.